Okay, first state your name for everyone.
Sure, Lisa Harms, Senior Director of Visual Arts and Education for ArtsQuest.
All right. And who is Linny Fowler, and what can you tell us about the history of fostering the community arts here at the Banana Factory?
Sure, so Linny Fowler was a benefactor and philanthropist and a lover of the arts. Across the Lehigh Valley, Linny gave her time and her finances to help support arts education, particularly with the founding of the Banana Factory. She really felt passionately about access to the arts for youth in the community. So particularly here on the South Side of Bethlehem, where there's a lot of children that are living at or below the poverty line and maybe don't have the resources to pay for expensive art classes. Linny really believed that the Banana Factory was an opportunity to create space and classes and camps and after school programs that should be offered at no cost or reduced cost to youth and to families. And Linny herself was a stained glass artist, so she not only felt passionately about the arts for others, but she was a creator of arts. She had a studio here at the Banana Factory for many years, which she then actually had a protege, Octavio, who worked with her and became a stained glass artist, and he now is in her studio up on the 3rd floor. So she is someone who, without her generosity, without her support, everything that we do at the Banana Factory, particularly around youth in the arts, would not have been able to happen.
Is there any connection between Bethlehem Steel and Banana Factory, or was it just a weird coincidence that the arts found a place here? And did that overlap of the two lead to any funny or interesting stories?
So the beginning of ArtsQuest, which started as Music Fest, was really birthed out of a need for economic opportunity in Bethlehem. So in 1984, when we had the first free 10-day music festival known as Music Fest, at that point, it was known that the Bethlehem Steel was on a decline and unsure of what the future would be. The steel provided so many employment opportunities. Growing up in this area, as I did, as many did, you had relatives who worked for the steel. It really was such an important part of the local economy and also people moving here, creating families here. The thought of arts through tourism was one way that Music Fest came along. So by creating this festival that was sort of rooted in the Germanic heritage of this area with free music and food and engaging with local vendors and businesses and mostly run by volunteers. That was the sort of start of it. So as the steel was on the decline, this idea of tourism through the arts and building community and economic development through the arts was on the rise. And ArtsQuest really was leading on that with Music Fest and then Chris Kinnemart. And then in the late 90s, the Banana Factory, which at that point was nothing was happening here. It had been a banana warehouse, Theodoritas Banana Distribution Center. It had been a car dealership, but it was a complex of 6 buildings that were in disrepair at that time. So creating artist studios, almost 30 artist studios, offering them at a discounted rate to artists to come here, creating gallery spaces, creating classrooms, creating a hot glass studio, a ceramic studio, was a way to invite artists into the community and to, with that, bring the dynamic opportunities for people to come in and engage with the arts. So when you bring artists into a community, inevitably what follows is more energy, more enthusiasm, economic opportunity. Local businesses start to set up shop nearby. Schools are engaged with the arts. And that's what we saw at the Banana Factory. So you had this unique ecosystem of collaboration and enthusiasm around the arts. And that was generated by a lot of the artists that were right here at the Banana Factory, by artists that came through to teach classes and exhibit their work. And then also because we are a community arts center and not a museum or a high-end gallery, we have our doors open to anyone in the community. So you may have never picked up a paintbrush before, but there's something for you at the Banana Factory. And that'll continue to be what happens in the new cultural center as we expand what we do with more spaces, more classrooms, more studios.
How has the art community in the Lehigh Valley changed over the years? For example, street art and murals, they've become more accepted as a legitimate medium. So would you say that the Banana Factory was ahead of its time? We have a bus shelter built by someone named Mr. Imagination, and I was wondering too if you could say like what drove him to come here, especially like as the art scene was kind of just growing at that stage.
Sure, I believe that Mr. Imagination was, originally from Chicago and worked in New York and other places. And I think one of the things that's unique about Bethlehem is our proximity to New York, to Philly, to other cities. And over the years, we have seen a lot of artists, particularly in the last few years and since the pandemic, that artists are coming here because they can find more opportunities, cheaper studio spaces, cheaper places to live. And with Mr. Imagination, there was an opportunity to create these site-specific installations, such as the bus shelter, that really captured kind of a moment in time where he was working with students. He worked a lot with found objects, such as bottle caps, and was self-taught. And the Banana Factory was a space for him to exhibit his work. He worked with local schools. And so he was the first real artist in residence at the Banana Factory in its early days. And I think what we've seen since then around public art and street art is not only more acceptance, but really more interest in having it and being able to engage with it. And people want to be involved in the process of selecting the artists, of creating themes for public art, thinking about functional art, such as the bike racks that we've recently did in the South Side of Bethlehem. I also think that things like murals and public art are one of the more accessible works of art that you can find because they're available. You don't have to pay a ticket fee to go in and see them. They're available to everyone in the community that walks or drives by.
Yes, yes. And I just wanted to add too how I think it is great how it's a hub for all kinds of business. Like it brings vendors of all kinds together. So it was such a great thing that they thought of all those years ago.
Absolutely, and I think it was beyond, I think what it's become and what it will continue to be as we expand is beyond what anyone could have imagined. I think there was this idea if we put artists in the community, give them studio spaces at a low rate, connect them with youth, connect them with the community through First Fridays, which is a free event that we run every month. I think they planted this seed and it has, just grown into a flourishing arts community with classes and glass blowing and, exhibitions and performances and everything. So I think the need for the new building is clear because we are kind of out of space and we want to be able to serve the community. But I also think the vision is the same and the values of the organization have not changed. And it's just, we're doing a great job of it. And now we just need a space where we can continue and grow to do more.
Definitely. Going forward with the expansion, like, do you think that'll allow for a wider variety of art forms? Could you go into detail about what you think will be added that is not here now?
Sure, that's a great question. One of the things we're really looking forward to being able to add that we don't currently do is to find more opportunities for interdisciplinary programming. So we've done a few occasions where we've had a visual art exhibition and then we've had a dance performance in that space. I think having the comedy theater in the new building and being able to work with art galleries and a theater space and what that looks like. Looking at opportunities for more performance art, opportunities for digital art. We'll have more technology and equipment to be able to accommodate digital art. And we're also looking for the facility itself, not only for the inside of the facility, but on the exterior, on our lawn and on the exterior of the building to feature more murals and more sculpture. So I think we're going to continue to see more and more public art opportunities as well.
Great, great. And so we're here in the Crayola Gallery. Of course, that company also has history here in the Lehigh Valley. But I wonder if there's other companies that can get involved to help fund and support more education of the arts. So is there a push to form more of those relationships?
Yeah, absolutely. ArtsQuest is extremely grateful for the many partnerships that we've had over the years, from corporate partners to individual donors to our nonprofit partners in the community. And that comes in a number of different ways. So some of that is financial support so that we can pay artists for their time. One of the things that ArtsQuest is passionate about is making sure that artists are paid for their work. So whether it's a free performance at Music Fest or a free after-school art program at the Banana Factory, artists are paid for their time. And so sometimes it's financial support, sometimes it's support by advocating for us in the community when we want to put up a mural or when we want to expand into a new space for programming. Some of that's advocacy. And then sometimes that is through community partnerships with the local school district or other nonprofits in helping us inform what kind of programming is needed. So I think one of the things we're really mindful about is whatever we're doing here needs to be for the community and with the community. So we are not going to put on an exhibition of artwork that no one is interested in. We really want the gallery shows and classes to reflect the community. And so that looks a couple of different ways. One is we may have guest curators or guest jurors come in and help us create an exhibition. We have students who come in and create programming for us in our spaces. So there's a lot of different ways that people can support, but we are ongoing needing support as a nonprofit, and as we continue to do more and more, we want to be able to create space and create opportunities that are respectful of the artists and paying them for their time. So that's always helpful to continue to have that financial support as well.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.